I do want to welcome Florida Congressman Michael Waltz to get his take on the unrest in Wisconsin and some other pressing issues. Hi, Congressman. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
So before we get to what's happening in Florida, I want to talk to you about what's happening in Wisconsin. As I just mentioned, Democrat Governor Tony Evers calling in the National Guard there to help quell the violence following that shooting of a black man by police. Now, speaking not just as a member of Congress yourself, but as a National Guard colonel, do you think leadership in the state of Wisconsin took the right action?
Well, first, I want to just really tip my hat to my fellow guardsmen and women all over the country who are still on active duty, away from their families, away from their jobs, to handle coronavirus. They're still handling social unrest in a number of states and a number of cities, and the overseas deployments that they get deployed, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, and others, haven't stopped either. So, I think the nation and the taxpayer are really getting their money's worth from our National Guard. Let's not forget 2 hurricanes and wildfires as well. Look, I do think the leadership made the right call in bringing the Guard in. This needs to be fully investigated. We don't know what happened before that video started. Police officers deserve due process as well, and deserve to be considered innocent before guilty, in the eyes of many Democrats and public opinion. At the end of the day, I do not think despite these number of incidences, there is not systemic racism throughout our entire police force in every county, state, and nationwide. Bad cops need to be rooted out, but 99.9% of them, men and women, are strapping on that badge every day, are men and women in blue, and keeping us safe. And I certainly want them to hear it from me. I have your back, and let's get to the bottom of these. If anything, we need more training, not to defund these police departments.
Well, and Congressman, I'm actually just seeing a breaking notification that the governor is imposing a curfew in Kenosha County. What do you think that's going to do to the situation that we've been seeing unfold overnight?
Well, I think as elected leaders, we need to tamp down the emotion, and we need to let the other side of the story come out. And if it turns out that those police officers either violated police policy, they should be terminated. And if they broke the law, then they should be prosecuted in accordance with law. But again, they are innocent until proven guilty. And I think the curfew is the right move. The National Guard is the right move. What is not, what we do not need to see is continued looting and violence, attacking businesses and other innocent Americans who had nothing to do with this.
I want to shift gears to what's happening in Florida. There's a legal battle in your state over school reopenings. It seems to be getting a lot bigger, this legal battle. The latest ruling that we saw by a judge makes it so that schools can't reopen in person like Governor DeSantis ordered, at least for the time being. Going back to the judge's ruling, though, he said that it was unconstitutional for schools to resume in-person learning because the education department ignored safety of students and staff. So what is your reaction to that?
Well, I certainly disagree with the judge's ruling, and the governor has already indicated he's going to appeal it and move that through the judicial process. Look, at the end of the day, I think it's incumbent on counties and school systems to provide choice to parents. One of the counties in my district, Lake County, has an in-person option. It has a hybrid option of some days on, some days off, and it has a virtual option. And I think that's the right approach because every family situation is different. You may have a blue-collar family, say a construction worker or a plumber, who can't be at home, has to have their kids at school, the underprivileged that need those meal programs, special needs children that can't learn virtually, our rural areas that don't have broadband. So I think you need, it is incumbent on us to provide those options, that menu of options. And then families are the ones that need to make those safety choices, not Washington, D.C., and not, state and federal governments. That needs to be decided at the family level, and the school systems need to do everything they can to provide choice. We in Congress have appropriated billions to help school systems with the supplies, the cleaning, the PPE that they need, and we're ready to actually appropriate more, but Speaker Pelosi won't come to an agreement. She's taking this all or nothing $3.5 trillion of her wish list approach that I think is really irresponsible.